got Charlie in the neck. We got Charlie in the neck.
When you tear out a man's tongue, you're not proving him a liar, you're merely telling the world that you're afraid of what he might have to say. My name is Stefan Tompson, I'm the founder of Visegrad 24, and today's video is an impromptu video about the act of terror on Charlie Kirk's life. It's one of the most single shocking events on the political right in the last few decades. To the people I spoke with last night, I spoke with numerous influencers, content creators, people like us who put things out online. And all of us were saying one of the most consistent things that was being said by me and many of my friends was that this was much more personal than when Donald Trump was targeted in Butler, partially because this assassination was actually successful, but also because Charlie was really one of us. Yes, he was much more famous than the vast majority of political commentators. He probably was the most famous political commentator on the right in the US. But it felt really personal because he was just a guy with a camera sitting and debating students on college campuses.
All right, everybody, who's ready for a little bit of prove me wrong disagreement?
He was described by the media after his killing as a radical, but ultimately the things that he was saying were things that many of us take for granted and that generations before us always took for granted. America is one of the greatest countries in the world. The Constitution is one of the single greatest documents ever written. Free market capitalism is one of the single best and most proven systems to lift the maximum amount of people out of poverty. Charlie Kirk, in many ways, was merely a defender of common sense. And it really, really hits home. When he was killed, we were talking with friends and there was this kind of outpouring of empathy and of great love and respect for this man. He was a family man, he was a father.
And I can tell you I'm super blessed. I have the best wife in the world. We have an amazing life. Building a family is the coolest thing ever. And my prayer for all of you is that you one day can do that.
He was a husband, he was a religious man, a man of faith.
How do you want to be remembered?
I mean, if I die,
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. The most important thing is my faith in my life.
And he was a man who, you know, his kindness always really shone through, and you could see it in the way he conversed with people on college campuses.
I just want to say I'm a transgender male.
Tell me, are you comfortable telling me your story? My prayer for you, and again, very few people will say this, I actually want to see you be comfortable in how you were born.
Yeah.
I know that you might not feel that way, but I think that is something that you can achieve. I think that with the right team and the right people, you don't have to wage war on your body, you can learn to love your body.
He spent his entire career debating people, but debating people with kindness and fairness. He wasn't out there to destroy the libs. He really wanted to have a conversation. I want to read you first a post that Charlie Kirk made in April of this year. Assassination culture is spreading on the left. 48% of liberals say it would be at least somewhat justified to murder Elon Musk. 55% said the same about Donald Trump. In California, activists are naming ballot measures after Luigi Mangione. The left is being whipped into a violent frenzy. Any setback, whether losing an election or losing a court case, justifies a maximally violent response. This is the natural outgrowth of left-wing protest culture tolerating violence and mayhem for years on end. The cowardice of local prosecutors and school officials have turned the left into a ticking time bomb. Charlie ended up being a victim of that ticking time bomb. One of the first things that we did at Visegrad 24 was to compile a thread of some of the most insane responses to Charlie Kirk's assassination. Brandy Bryant, breaking. Charlie Kirk loses gun debate. Incompetent assassin misses largest head on the planet. The entire country's turning into an authoritarian's wet dream and we're concerned trolling over a Nazi getting shot. Yeah, fairy tales for sure. Fuck Charlie Kirk, I hope he has a painful death. If you're a fascist who is literally responsible for untold numbers of deaths, it's good actually. And now let's read some of the most unhinged responses on BLUESKY, which is supposedly a haven of tolerant liberal leftists who left X because it turned into a Nazi, misogynist, xenophobic, extremist, prejudiced swamp. These are the people of tolerance. These are the people who tell us about love and kindness. I hope they do Joe Rogan next. Nice, can we do Ben Shapiro next? Laughing my ass off, best birthday present ever, I'm laughing so hard, that's what you get. Oh, that was fun. Do Ben Shapiro next. So glad his ass got packed up. Ben Shapiro next, please. J.K. Rowling next. J.K. Rowling next. Yay, one less misogynist piece of on the planet. Do Trump's next. Not sorry. These are supposedly tolerant, loving, peaceful individuals cheering on a political assassination of one of the most important figures on the right.
Hey, so Charlie Kirk just got shot. Maybe there are good guys with guns out there.
Update, Charlie Kirk is officially looking up at us, and I'm about to head to the grocery store because I'm making ribs tonight. Oh, but he was a man with a wife and kids. Yeah, and now they're safe from him.
Just no words. No, let's watch another one.
I'm not happy about this.
But this vitriol isn't just online. A guy with a camera went to the University of Texas in Austin and asked students what they think about the killing of Charlie Kirk. Let's watch this video together.
Charlie Kirk got shot and killed. How do you feel?
Happy. Goodbye.
Wow. Did you see that Charlie Kirk just got shot and killed?
That's good.
Wow. That's good. That's good that people are getting shot just off a political view. Good that people are dying in America.
Did you see that Charlie Kirk got shot and killed today?
Yes, I did.
How do you feel about that?
I don't really have any feelings about it. Who are you?
Charlie Kirk got shot and killed today. We're just getting people's opinions. How do you feel about that?
Girl, someone had to do it. And that's how I feel at this point in time. But
yeah, I appreciate your honesty. I truly do. So you said someone had to do it.
yes. Try not to get all pulled up into that, but he was a misogynist. He was a disgusting person with disgusting beliefs.
So if you had a magical wand, a magical button that you could press and keep him from being assassinated, would you press that?
No. I think things happen for a purpose. And if that's how his life was ended, then that's how it was ended. So
we're seeing response from anonymous trolls, incredibly vitriolic. We've seen it from Islamists, from the transgenders, from the radical left. We saw it from college students, unashamed of showing their face and responding with zero empathy to the killing of a man who spoke on hundreds of college campuses. And he spoke to these people with nothing but kindness and empathy. But what's perhaps even worse than these anonymous accounts, not anonymous accounts, and college students and random TikTok content creators responding with vitriol and hatred, is the response from the mainstream media. As we always repeat, you don't hate the mainstream media enough. Let's watch what MSNBC had to say about Charlie Kirk. This was in the moment, in the fog of information when it wasn't sure what was happening.
We don't know any of the full details of this. That we don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea.
The level of unhingedness here is just unreal. It's heartbreaking. It really is. Let's watch another clip from MSNBC where MSNBC journalists reveal what they think about Charlie Kirk.
He's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions. And I think that's the environment we're in, that people just, you can't stop with these sort of awful thoughts you have and then saying these awful words and not expect awful actions to take place.
This is the embodiment of the left, and this is the natural conclusion of radical leftists pushing the thesis that words are violence. If in their unhinged minds you can argue somehow that speech is violence, you will inevitably lead to the justification of responding to other people's words with violence. As a European, this is strongly reminiscent of the time that we had in the 1930s prior to the Spanish Civil War, in which the communists and the nationalists ended up in a violent conflict. It's also reminiscent of the Red Brigades that operated in Italy in the 1970s. It's reminiscent of the horrific violence that we saw in Spain over several decades. If this is not contained, we are heading towards deeply, deeply horrific things. I think it's only fitting to end this video with Charlie explaining why Charlie did what he did. And it's so eloquent and so beautiful. And I think it's such a fitting end to this video.
I go around universities and have challenging conversations, and because that's what is so important to our country, is to find our disagreements respectfully, because when people stop talking, that's when violence happens.
I've never seen someone do this.
Well, it's a growing trend because people like me are facing violence, assaults, the left. Yes, the campus Antifa. I've been stormed out of restaurants. I've been assaulted publicly, multiple death threats.
Okay, so what's your goal in all this?
There's more people that agree with me than some people would actually believe, and they come out of the woodwork when I do stuff like this. We record all of it so that we put it on the internet so people can see these ideas collide. When people stop talking, that's when you get violence. That's when civil war happens, because you start to think the other side is so evil and they lose their humanity.
When people stop talking, that's when violence happens. The aim of the killer, we don't know who the killer was, but the aim of the killer was to silence Charlie and others like him. This is the moment to not be intimidated. This is the moment for people, for conservatives, for those with common sense, for those who love the West, for those who love America, for those who love Latin civilization, which is built on 3 great hills, the Acropolis, the Capitoline Hill, and Golgotha, to speak up and to stand up for our values before they are torn down and destroyed by those who would see our world be destroyed and our civilization fail.